My cat's favorite place to sleep is in our laundry room. It's not the most exciting or particularly clean place, but she loves it. There's nothing better than stairs into the laundry and finding her curled fast asleep in a freshly clean. But before we in, that spot didn't have any particular significance for her. In fact, she despised it. It was only after we that she discovered it was the perfect place to take a nap. You see, she likes to feel, which is hard to do in an open concept. So she chose to hide behind the old bed. We put that thing in the yard about a year ago. After the kept stealing it from our front yard. It's too big for a shed. Just kind of let it dirt out back. But you made it her own by putting it over the box and lining it with straw from the bird feeder. It was the perfect den. No one could get to her while she slept there, and she was happy. That is until yesterday. You see, this is the story of how my dog found the cat's secret hideout. My Chow Chow, Bear. He's a gentle giant with a heart of gold. Ever since we brought him home as a puppy, he's been nothing but sunshine and rainbows. Just look at this face. How could you say no to a face like that? When we adopted him, he was already half grown and ready to be somebody's best friend. He's got a thick, fluffy coat that gives him the appearance of a small, fat lion. And he acts like one too. Our bear rules the pride with an iron paw. But even though he can be a handful sometimes, we wouldn't trade him for the world. Now, our cat has always been jealous of all the attention he gets. We work from home most days, so we spend a lot of time with both of them. But if we're being honest, we probably spoil Bear a little more than Luna. After all, he was our first pet, so we were still learning with her. But that doesn't mean we don't love her just as much. She's just a little more independent and spends a lot of time alone while we're working. We try to give her more attention during the evenings and on weekends, but she'd rather spend that time alone. And that's fine, because we have plenty of love for our big lug. And it also means we're never bored. Bear loves to play, but she couldn't care less. When he wants to wrestle, she'll scratch him and then run away. If he tries to nudge her while they're watching TV, she'll glare at him and move to the other side of the couch. If he goes to the food bowl before her, she'll give him an angry look and he'll back off. They have their own routines and they stick to them. And we like it that way. It's nice not having to worry about them getting into each other's business. But yesterday, Bear discovered the cat's secret hideout, and it changed everything. It started like any other day. We woke up early, made some coffee, and got to work. The kids were off at school, and the house was quiet, except for the hum of the fridge and the clatter of our keyboards. Then suddenly, there was a crash from outside. I looked out the window and saw Bear trotting back into the yard with something in his mouth. It was the lid from the cat's box. He dropped it at our feet and barked twice. I looked at my wife. She looked at me, and we both burst out laughing. Of course, he was trying to tell us that the cat's den was no longer private. We walked out back to check on her and found her hiding under the shed. I knelt down next to her and called her name. She slowly came out, tail held high and eyes narrowed. It was obvious she wasn't happy about what had happened. But she wasn't hurt. We reassured her with some pets and then went back inside to work. A few minutes later, Bear came bounding through the door with another box in his mouth. This one was empty. He dropped it at our feet and barked again. Then he trotted back out to the yard and dropped the second box right on top of the first. He barked once, then sat down and stared at us with pleading eyes. It was clear what he wanted us to do, but there was no way we were going to let him destroy the cat's den. After all, it was her sanctuary. But then we noticed something strange. The box was squished flat, like someone had tried to curl up inside it. And when we looked closer, we saw two small green eyes peering at us from the opening. It was Luna. She had climbed inside the box and made herself comfortable. but it was clear that it wasn't big enough for her to curl up in the way she liked. We knew that if we didn't do something, she would eventually make her way out and find a new hiding spot. That's when we came up with a plan. We took the boxes out back, propped them up against the shed, and filled them with fresh straw. It wasn't exactly what the cat had in mind, but it was the least we could do to make sure she was safe. Sure enough, she made her way back to the shed and disappeared into the straw. We watched her from the window and couldn't help but smile. She was so cute. That night, we went to bed early and left the shed door open so she could come and go as she pleased. In the morning, we heard some commotion out back, so we went to check on her. To our surprise, we found her sleeping peacefully inside the shed. She must have decided to stay there for the night. We didn't think much of it, so we just let her be. But the next day, she was back in her box, and the day after that, she was back in her box, and the day after that, she was still in her box. At first, we thought it was funny. A cat that liked to live in a shed. Who does that, right? But then we started to worry. Was she sick? Did she not feel safe in the house? Were we doing something wrong? We talked to our vet, and he said that as long as she was eating and drinking, it was probably fine. Most cats are creatures of habit and like to sleep in the same place every night, so it wasn't unusual for her to choose the shed as her den. Still, we couldn't help but feel like something was missing. The cat we knew and loved wasn't the same without her nightly cuddle sessions. One day, we decided to do something drastic. We removed the boxes from the shed and put them next to her bed. We figured that if she was going to stay in the laundry room, she might as well be comfortable, and it worked. She used the boxes as a makeshift bed and spent her nights sleeping soundly. We were relieved and overjoyed to have our cat back. But what about Bear? He hadn't seen the cat since we moved the boxes. He missed her too. He would often wander into the laundry room and sniff around where she used to sleep. He would bark once, then trot back out to the hall, tail between his legs. We felt bad for him. After all, he was just trying to be friendly. But we also knew that he had to understand that the cat needed her space. Then one night, it happened. We were watching TV in the living room when we heard a loud crash from the laundry room. We ran to the door and opened it to see Bear standing in the middle of a pile of straw. He looked guilty, but he also looked scared. We knelt down next to him and talked in soothing voices. He licked our hands and then trotted out to the hallway. We followed him to the cat's bed and watched as he tentatively sniffed her boxes. She didn't seem to mind though. She just blinked slowly and groomed herself. We were surprised, but we also felt a sense of relief. Maybe they could be friends after all. The next morning, we came downstairs to find the cat curled up on top of Bear. It was the most adorable thing we had ever seen. She had chosen to make her den on top of his bed. And while we were still getting used to the idea, we knew that it was perfect. The cat was happy. The dog was happy. And that was all that mattered. From that day on, the cat and the dog became the best of friends. They would often be found napping together in the laundry room, and we couldn't help but smile every time we saw them. It was the perfect ending to a crazy story.